Here we are running into the Underground Crypto Moonbase Research Laboratory series. So let's talk about it. So a short story about why crypto moves in waves, and this is what you would be clipping, Blue Sky. So crypto has never moved in a straight lines. From the outside, it looks chaotic. Sudden surges, sharp declines, waves of excitement followed by long, quiet periods. But underneath that volatility is a pattern that repeats across every cycle, and it begins with possibility. A new idea appears, a technology shifts, a new use case, a new narrative about what crypto could become. At first, only a small group of people notice. Builders quietly experiment, and early believers pay attention. Then momentum forms. Prices rise, attention grows, capital enters, more builders arrive. The idea feels validated, and expansion accelerates. What was once niche becomes visible, but growth outruns reality. Expectations climb faster than the adoption can. Projects multiply, meaning many new projects come into the same niche, and capital spreads thin. This signal becomes noisy. Eventually, belief weakens and contraction begins. So you see the different phases, right? Price falls, attention fades, speculation retreats, weak systems disappear, but what remains is infrastructure, knowledge, and progress built during the expansion. The cycle begins again, but not from zero, but from a higher base. Crypto doesn't repeat because it fails, it repeats because of innovation, capital, and belief moves unevenly. What looks like a boom and bust is actually discovery. The market is searching for what matters. And it's kind of the way that in crypto we innovate, right? We innovate by these moments of excitement, a new idea, a new project promising new things. And then it builds really quick. A bunch of new projects come out in the same niche and it gets spread way too thin. And after a while, the innovation can't match the excitement, meaning they can't keep innovating with new stuff and keep the hype going. The hype starts to die. Everything starts to consolidate. Certain projects that were really not all that great, they fail, and everything quietly, goes quiet again, and the infrastructure remains. And on the next cycle of whatever that niche is, that excitement, that hype, you start not from zero, but from wherever you left off. Here we are. So why markets don't grow in a straight line? By a straight line, they very much mean on a chart. So all emerging technologies grow in waves rather than a steady line. And just think about any emerging technology, whether it was the internet, whatever, phones, computers, they very much had times of a lot of growth and a lot of innovation and a lot of new stuff coming out, and then times where people had to work and figure out problems before you could get that next wave of hype and new equipment or new technology. Adoption, capital, and innovation arrive unevenly. Crypto amplifies this pattern because it combines technology with finance and speculation. Cycles are not failure, right? They are how uncertain systems develop. So reflexivity in crypto markets. Crypto markets are highly reflexive. Rising price attracts attention, not attacks it, but attracts it. Attention attracts capital, and capital accelerates development, and development reinforces the belief. This feedback loop creates a rapid expansion and eventually an overextension, or like we were talking about the RSI, that would be like overbought or oversold. So capital rotation. So we're talking now more about the rotation and how this actually works. As narratives shift, capital rotation between sectors. So you have the layer one, and then that money flows into DeFi, NFTs, AI, and gaming, into infrastructure. Rotation is not random. It follows perceived opportunities and novelty. Cycles emerge from this movement. Expansion phases. So expansion occurs when new narratives emerge, liquidity increases, technology unlocks new use cases, or speculation accelerates. These phases create rapid growth. Saturation and overextension, though, as a cycle matures, expectations outrun actual reality. Projects in that niche multiply. Capital, therefore, is dispersed amongst all of these new projects, and marginal innovation declines. Momentum weakens, to sum it up and say it in a simple way. We just got an alert. It looks like maybe your 5-minute BTC RSI has come down and reset, just like we said it would. And let me show that. Of setting your alerts. I know it's in the middle of our talking points. It's okay. All right, let's pick our thinking caps back up and get back into raising this crypto IQ, because I think this is good sauce. And I got to say, for myself, I talk a lot, and I don't want to go off on a tangent about how, the show is very much to keep me engaged in learning and share it with a community. So the compounding effect of all of these different talks that we've gone over have really changed the way that I look at projects, the timing of the market, narratives, what I think is genuine and authentic and what I don't think is genuine and authentic. Anyways, so number 6, contraction phase. When belief in liquidity slows, so the hype was going, we get into that euphoric space and you've gone way up and you start to curve and come back down, right? Think of it like your RSI. Prices fall, activity drops, weaker projects fail, usually your newer ones that came in at the end, and capital exits. Contraction resets the system. Why cycles repeat? Each cycle introduces new technology, new participants, new narratives, and new capital, but human behavior remains consistent. Cycles as structures, not emotion. Crypto cycles are often framed as hype and fear, when in reality they are structural responses to innovation and capital flow. Emotions amplify those cycles. It doesn't create them. This is a great distinction because we do talk a lot about the charts being a measure of human emotion, and that human emotion is the speculation that we also talk about a lot. And it's true that they are, but we don't want to go so far as to think that people's emotions or, how they speculate by itself creates these pumps and these runs. There has to be some underlying innovation and infrastructure there for the people to get excited about and emotional about in the first place, right? So one thing that could help is if you can kind of see the hype and things on a very low level starting to build for a certain sector or niche or category, if you will, before everybody else runs into it. That's a good way to speculate. So a core insight here, crypto cycles are not just chaos. They are market discovering value over time. And then of course we have our story, and I almost want to read this story again because it's pretty short and I think it's very helpful. I might start doing this as well because I really want people to get this stuff. That is the whole point of my channel. So a short story about why crypto moves in waves. Crypto has never moved in a straight line. From the outside, it looks chaotic. Sudden surges, sharp declines, waves of excitement followed by long, quiet periods. But underneath that volatility is a pattern that repeats across every cycle. It begins with possibility. A new idea appears, a technology shifts, a new use case, a new narrative about what crypto could become. At first, only a small group of people notice. Builders experiment quietly, early believers pay attention. That's what I was just talking about, being one of those early seers or believers. And then the momentum forms. Price rises, attention grows, capital enters, more builders arrive. The idea feels validated and expansion accelerates. That's what was once a niche, small, not a lot of people knew about, becomes visible and everybody seems to catch on. But growth outruns the reality. Expectations climb faster than actual adoption. Projects multiply, capital spreads thin, and the signal becomes noisy. Eventually, belief weakens, and the contraction begins. Prices fall, attention fades, speculation retreats, weak systems disappear, the really smart people already sold at the top, but what remains is infrastructure, knowledge, and progress built during the expansion. Then the crypto cycle begins again, but not from zero, but from a higher base. Crypto doesn't repeat because it fails. It repeats because innovation, capital, and beliefs move unevenly. What looks like a boom and bust is actually discovery. The market is searching for what matters.